Michael Adams was a player who would score in bunches, relying on his quickness to the rim and three-point shot for his baskets. Despite his jumper looking like a shot put, it fell, including his free throws, which were also wild, standing off completely to the right side. Yet it all fell frequently, and in particular with the Denver Nuggets, as he was given the green light to shoot it whenever, wherever, leading the league multiple times in three-point attempts and makes. All culminating into his best season being 26.5 points per game to go along with 10.5 assists, as Adams was also a great passer and a pest on defense despite his smaller size. Adams, however, did not pick up an all-star nod this season as people criticized the numbers being inflated by the system and a bad team. The next season, Michael Adams proved doubters wrong to become an all-star with the Washington Bullets, showing the league he was a star-caliber player. Adams unfortunately never played on many great NBA teams throughout his career, but whenever he did play, wherever he played, he always put on a show for the fans. This is a look back on Michael Adams' career. Michael Adams was born and raised in Hartford, Connecticut, picking up the game of basketball playing for Hartford Public High School. And Adams would catch eyes of few colleges despite his smaller stature, standing at the point guard position at 5'10", and a funky shot scaring some teams away. But it didn't scare away Boston College, where Adams would commit to play his college basketball. Michael Adams' freshman year at Boston College came off the bench to back up future NBA player John Bagley. Learning the game playing behind Bagley, Adams averaged 5.3 points his freshman year, helping Boston College make the NCAA tournament as an 8 seed. The Eagles would go on to defeat San Francisco round 1, setting up a matchup against the 1-seeded DePaul and Terry Cummings round 2. Michael Adams would have a breakout game on the big stage, scoring 21 points off the bench, propelling Boston College to the upset, knocking off 1-seeded DePaul. After the game, Michael Adams would be inserted into the starting lineup moving forward, where he delivered in the Sweet 16 as well over Kansas State in a victory, leading the team with 20 points. The Cinderella run for Boston College came to an end in the Elite Eight as they faced up against Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler with the Houston Cougars, who proved to be too much talent for the team to deal with. Michael Adams, entering his sophomore season, became the starting point guard as Bagley left and turned pro, seeing an increase in Adams' numbers to 16.2 points, 5.3 assists, and 2.8 steals, making the All-Big East team, guiding Boston College to a Big East regular season championship and the 4 seed entering the NCAA tournament. The Eagles would almost upset another number 1 seed in the tournament facing Virginia with Ralph Sampson, who had himself into foul trouble, but Virginia still held on to a victory late, getting a big enough margin to hold on to when Ralph Sampson was in the game. Michael Adams was a large part of making the Virginia game close, scoring 18 points in the game and handing out 8 assists as long as grabbing 5 rebounds. Michael Adams, entering his junior season, continued to improve upon his personal numbers to average 17.3 points, 2.9 steals, and 3.5 assists, earning another All-Big East team nod. Yet Boston College struggled in conference play this year, missing the NCAA tournament. Adams' senior year took a dip in his scoring output to 15.3 points to go along with 5.2 assists and 2.3 steals, making the all-conference team again, as the team was better this year and Adams did not need to do as much on the offensive end in the scoring category, with Boston College making the NCAA tournament as an 11 seed. Boston College under Michael Adams again pulled off an NCAA tournament upset, taking down Texas Tech round 1 as Adams led the way with 17 points. Round 2, Boston College continued its success in the tournament, upsetting 3-seeded Duke and Johnny Dawkins as Michael Adams scored 19 points, had 4 assists and 4 rebounds. Making it into the Sweet 16, Boston College got a matchup against Memphis. The game would be a close one despite Adams struggling more from the floor this game as role players stepped up to fill his hole, seeing the game tied with 14 seconds left and Boston College having the ball and a chance to win it, as Michael Adams was clearly being the go-to guy as the play was drawn up for him. Yet Boston College turned over the ball as Memphis came down the court and Andre Turner hit the buzzer beater, ending Michael Adams' college career. Michael Adams entering the NBA draft wasn't highly sought after as he had a funky shot, was considered smaller, and I think most importantly, college basketball did not have a three-point arc, so he couldn't quite showcase his deep-range shooting, resulting in Michael Adams falling in the NBA draft to the 3rd round, being selected by the Sacramento Kings with the 66th overall pick. There weren't even any guarantees of Michael Adams even making the NBA team as he was drafted in the 3rd round, but he impressed enough to make the opening day roster in training camp, with Adams' role to be the backup point guard to Larry Drew. Michael Adams played sparingly in 18 games, averaging 2.2 points and 1.2 assists before being released as the Kings signed Mike Bratz to be the backup point guard. No other NBA team came calling after Michael Adams' release, with Adams going on to join the Bay State Bombardiers, a part of the CBA, where he put up together a strong season, becoming Rookie of the Year, as well as being named to All-League and All-Defensive second teams. And in the summer, Michael Adams continued in the minor leagues in the U.S. playing basketball for Springfield Fame, a part of the USBL, impressing enough to get a second shot at the NBA. Michael Adams signed a contract joining the Washington Bullets, and Adams was a part of a playoff-caliber Bullets team headed by Moses Malone and Jeff Malone, with Michael Adams' role to become the backup point guard Ennis Watley. Adams off the bench went on to average 7.2 points, 3.9 assists, and 1.3 steals, helping the Bullets make the playoffs after they went 42-40, getting in as a 6th seed. They wouldn't last very long in the playoffs, though, as they would be swept out of them rather quickly by the bad boy Pistons after a big series from Isaiah Thomas. Michael Adams over the series averaged 6.3 points, 3.3 assists, and 2.3 steals. In the offseason, Michael Adams would be on the move again, being thrown into a trade as a trade chip. Michael Adams, along with Jay Vincent, was traded to the Denver Nuggets for Mark O'Leary and Darrell Walker. Adams was joining a Nuggets team that was looking to bounce back after a disappointing year the prior season, barely making the playoffs, being bounced round 1. The Nuggets were led by the high-scoring duo of Alex English and Fat Lever. Michael Adams was going to be the backup point guard again, but earned the starting point guard position early into the year as he was encouraged to shoot the 3-ball more frequently, even ending up leading the league this year in attempts with 379, as Adams became the third option on the team to average 13.9 points, 6.1 assists, and 2 steals. With the addition of Adams, he helped the Nuggets take the next step, going 54-28, making the playoffs as a 2 seed, where they'd be facing the Seattle Supersonics round 1 with Tom Chambers, Dale Ellis, and Xavier McDaniel. And the Sonics made the series close as Fat Lever battled an injury and the team would rally. Jay Vincent filled his role, elevating his play, helping the Nuggets advance in 5 games. Round 2, the Nuggets met the Dallas Mavericks with Rolando Blackman, Derek Harper, and Mark Aguirre. The Nuggets went up 2-1 in the series with Lever healthy for now, helping the Nuggets look in control, but proceeded to drop the next 3 games as Fat Lever missed them with injury. Over the postseason, Michael Adams did not have any standout performances. However, Adams did maintain solid numbers consistent to the regular season with 13.4 points, 5.8 assists, and 1.6 steals. Next season, the Nuggets would add Walter Davis via a trade, replacing Jay Vincent, who was dealing with injuries, being traded away in a separate deal. Michael Adams took on a larger role within the offense, stepping up his game to average 18.5 points, 2.2 steals, and 6.4 assists, while also leading the league again in 3-point attempts with 466, and led the NBA in 3-pointers made this time with 166. Adams' growth, however, did not correlate to team success though, as the Nuggets took a step backwards, going 44-38, getting a 6th seed in a series against the Phoenix Suns with Tom Chambers, Eddie Johnson, Kevin Johnson, and Jeff Hornacek. Adams missed the first game of the series with an injury as the Nuggets dropped the game, clearly missing him. Michael Adams returned for Game 2 and 3, where he played great to put up averages of 23.5 points, 4.5 assists, and 8.5 rebounds, on top of having 1.5 steals. But it wasn't enough as the Suns swept the Nuggets. Next year, Michael Adams' numbers took a slight dip to average 15.5 points, 6.3 assists, and 1.5 steals, as Walter Davis was scoring more. Adams, of course, led the league again in threes with 158 and 3-pointers attempted with 432, as the Nuggets finished the year going 43-39, as English was showing signs of age catching up to him. The Nuggets did make the playoffs, though, as the 7th seed, meeting the San Antonio Spurs, where the big three of David Robinson, Willie Anderson, and Terry Cummings proved to be way too much for them to handle, as the Spurs swept the Nuggets comfortably. Part of the reason the Nuggets lost the series was Michael Adams, as he averaged 13 points, 6 assists, not really meeting his regular season form. In the offseason, Alex English left in free agency, sparking a rebuild by the Nuggets, as they would go on to proceed to trade away Fat Lever and Walter Davis, with the Nuggets adding Orlando Woolridge in free agency to hopefully fill the hole. The Nuggets were now officially Michael Adams's, and he was given the biggest green light anyone had seen up to this point in time next season, as the Nuggets had a new system emphasizing fast pace and getting up shots in abundance, as Michael Adams went on to average 26.5 points, 10.5 assists, and 2.2 steals in 66 games. Adams this season also broke the then NBA record at the time for three-point attempts in a year with 564, which is really impressive when you consider he only went 66 of the 82 games. And two of the big highlights in the year for Michael Adams was his 54-point game in which he made a career-high 9 3-pointers, and the other being a triple-double, becoming one of the shortest players to ever have picked up one. The Nuggets and Michael Adams may have been scoring at will, but they did not stop anyone either from scoring, as they would go on to go 20-62, missing the playoffs. In the offseason, the Nuggets continued the rebuild, trading away Michael Adams as the offensive experiment had failed as they struggled the prior year. Michael Adams was traded by the Nuggets with 2 future picks that became LaBradford Smith and John Best to the Washington Bullets for a future first-round pick that became Mark Macon. Adams was rejoining the Bullets, now headed by Purvis Ellison and Harvey Grant, with his role to be the third option setting up both, and Michael Adams was out to prove he was more than a system player from last year, and he did, to average 18.1 points, 7.6 assists, 4 rebounds, and 1.6 steals, earning a place in the NBA All-Star game, where he played solid in the game, scoring 9 points, grabbing 4 steals, 1 assist, and 1 rebound, looking like he truly belonged on the stage. Adams' best individual game of the season was in a victory against the Indiana Pacers, as he recorded a career-high 9 steals to go along with 23 points and 13 assists. Michael Adams got the personal recognition he deserved this season, but the Bullets struggled, going 25-57, missing the playoffs. In the offseason, the Bullets added Tom Gugliotta through the draft, seeing Michael Adams not being asked to score as much next season, as Michael Adams went on to average 14.8 points, 7.5 assists, and 1.4 steals, still playing for a rather struggling Bullets team that went 22-60, as Purvis Ellison missed a fair amount of time with injury. The Bullets would then proceed to trade away Harvey Grant in the offseason, and Rex Chapman and Don McLean filled in, stepping up their games. Adams backed up both as he averaged 12.1 points and 6.9 assists. However, Chapman and McLean's emergence was not enough, though, as the Bullets continued to be one of the worst teams in the league, going 24-58. In the offseason, the Bullets again tried to mix things up to get out of the slump, trading away the aging Michael Adams. Michael Adams was traded by the Washington Bullets to the Charlotte Hornets for 2 future picks that became Ronnie Henderson and Predrag Drobnjak. Adams was joining a playoff-caliber team headed by Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson. Michael Adams' new role is to be the backup point guard to Muggsy Boggs, but Adams only went for 29 games to average 6.5 points and 3.3 assists. At least he was on a competitive Hornets team that went 50-32, making the playoffs as a 4 seed. The Hornets did not last very long in the playoffs, though, as they faced the Chicago Bulls, who had Michael Jordan fresh out of playing baseball, propelling the Bulls to a 3-1 series win. Michael Adams only played 1 game in the series, scoring 4 points off the bench in garbage time. In the offseason, the Hornets traded away Alonzo Mourning to the Heat for Glenn Rice, as Mourning and Johnson were butting heads. The move would hurt the team, as the Hornets proceeded to go 41-41 next season, missing the playoffs, and Michael Adams on the year averaged 5.4 points and 3.2 assists in only 21 games, and after the year, the Hornets released Michael Adams, ending his NBA career. Michael Adams, over 11 years in the NBA, averaged 14.7 points, 6.4 assists, and 1.7 steals. Michael Adams will forever be remembered as a small guard who could get hot and light up any team while dishing out the rock, relying on his three-point shot, however unorthodox it may have looked, having the ultimate green light throughout his time in Denver to shoot it whenever, wherever, leading to multiple times of him leading the NBA in three-point attempts and makes, and even setting the record, culminating in his best statistical season being a 26.5 points with 10.5 assists. Yet it received little acknowledgement as the system benefited him greatly, until the following season, where Adams put together a strong year with the Bullets, earning an all-star appearance, proving he was more than a system player and could ball, putting the exclamation point on his career from being in the minor leagues and barely making the NBA to becoming an NBA All-Star. Thank you for watching this video on Michael Adams' career. If you want to see any other videos in the future about any other random players, leave them in the comments below. Who knows, I may or may not decide to do them. Thanks again for watching. This has been Skid Denver.